Happy Monday.
Yeah, it's a good one, man.
You guys had a crab feast yesterday?
Oh, yeah, man. Steamed our own crabs and smash burgers at my son's house. And all the family came from Baltimore. And we had a great time,
That's
man.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good day.
And we had some family from West Virginia come. So it's kind of like combining everybody. Weather turned out great.
It was a good day.
Yep. Man. Yeah,
Right
good times. Good times.
It's a good one. I love crabs in the summertime.
Heck yeah, because it's a funny thing because the season, kind of like May-ish to October-ish, it's like all the warm weather. Yeah. And it kind of fits with, if you grow up where you and I grew up, you grew up in Delaware, but it's the same deal, man.
It is.
In Maryland, it's like, that's the summer
part
thing.
Of it.
It's part of the summer. Blue crabs, man. Steamed blue crabs.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
So was the sermon yesterday.
Cool.
It was great.
Cool, man.
Enjoyed it a lot.
It was a fun Sunday. And introduced a new song as well.
Yeah.
And it was really, it's good to get into these things.
And we kind of turned a corner in our Ephesians series into the second half of the book. So chapters 1-3 have a really kind of like theological feel to them. Like, this is who God is. This is who we're worshiping. Yeah. And then we make this shift in chapters 4-6 that's a lot more practical, a lot more like this is how you're gonna work that out.
And if you read it like that and you have that in your mind, it is very interesting how Paul did that. Yep. And he's just like, the first half of my letter, let's just talk about God and Jesus and who he is and how all this works. Some of it's a little confusing. Yeah. And some of it's like, it's confusing because nobody's going to be able to understand it. Because he even says that, right? Yep. But then when you get through 4-6, it's like, if I just put these things in my life, man. Yeah. And it makes it kind of clear. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, how we apply those things is one thing, but he makes it clear of what we're supposed to do in chapters 4-6, which, you're right, it is a big transition.
It definitely is.
The verse 1 is a transition verse. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For the rest of the letter.
That like therefore that's what it is that like that therefore you're like, okay, well, how far back am I supposed to read to make sure I know what this therefore is? But the therefore it shifts it over, and then we go, all right, lead a life worthy of your calling. Period. You've been called by God.
You've been called by God, so that's your
no pressure
thesis statement for really the rest of your life in terms of how we behave and act.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. And I want to touch on this. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I loved the point you made about, you talked about teams a little bit and how coaches have kind of, it was, I think you were referencing a coach who said like, if they love each other, they're going to be successful. Yeah. And that's huge for us. As believers, we kind of think, like, you might think that you're not a team sports person, but if you are following Jesus, you're on a team, because we really are, like, all working together.
That's what it should be.
I mean, sake of the gospel.
Yeah, exactly. So, and how many times Paul says that we're a body and uses that whole metaphor all the time with the head, the eyes, ligaments, all that stuff like that. Together. But it was a chaplain named Joe Ehrman who was and the player was named Mike Frederick. Big dude, man. He's he lives around here now, and we've developed a friendship. He actually spends half his time down where you used to live, down kind of near Lewis. Okay. All right, but he was a defensive end for the Browns and then the Ravens and all that. But he that's who was saying that. If you love one another, you want to see each other's success, and that's going to breed something that's going to be just dynamic. Yeah. You know,
it's true.
Don't we see so many athletes just kind of in it for themselves? Like, seriously.
I mean, it really, and it's hard not to, because you grow up hearing so much about like, you gotta be better, you gotta make this team, make this elite team. Even in team sports,
that is true.
Really, like, that is true. Constant competition, so it is.
It becomes very individual, and now I'm about me getting to the best college, then maybe going pro or whatever, and it starts to become more individual than it should.
You start to feel like, oh man, like that person playing my position, so I want to be better than that person, but like you're on the same team, so you gotta. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. Which is why we talk about like that unified kind of spirit to everything that we're doing. That was sort of the theme that ran through yesterday, was the word unified, and then we had some
unified,
different things, and we landed on unified growth, but I know you had more to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's always I don't know if you teach and you get to that place where you're like, I got a lot more to say. Good, I'm going to say it. Mm-hmm. Then you look at the clock. It's like, can't say it. But you're right. That fourth point was unified growth. And I think, man, there is a lot to say about that. But it kind of growth begins with Jesus. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Our whole faith begins with Jesus. Yeah. I mean, everything begins with him. So it just makes sense that the growth aspect of our life in faith starts with Jesus. And when you look at this verse in 13, this will continue until we all come to such unity, there's your word, in our faith and knowledge, faith and knowledge together, of God's Son. So you can't just stop with faith and knowledge, because you could take that anywhere. Yeah. But it really references something, you know, with that prepositional phrase. It's like, of God's Son. Yeah. Okay, now we know we got to have faith in, and now we know what we're going to have to grow in knowledge. Yeah. So if Jesus is the focus of our faith, and that we believe in Jesus and believe him, and then we learn about Jesus, and knowledge of Jesus is just getting to know him. Yeah. Understand who he is, what he does theologically, but what he does in our lives personally. Yep. That is going to stimulate a ton of growth. Yeah. That's what it says here. And the rest of the verse, so that we will be mature in the Lord, measuring up to the full and complete standard of Christ. And it's like, man, isn't that, I don't know, does that surprise you? That the growth, the biggest growth that we're going to be able to have is faith and knowledge in God's Son. Yeah. I think it's just a good reminder that we have so much less power than we think we have, and we also have so much more power than we think we have. Me on my own, I can't grow myself. I have to completely rely on the work of God as the Holy Spirit in me to grow me, right? But because he does that faithfully every day, over and over again, I have so much more power than I really could even ever imagine. It's a really interesting point you make. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that way. Well, that we have say it again, we have so much less power than we think we have. But then, on the other hand, we have so much more than we even think. It's true. It is. I like the way you said that. That's a very funny thing when you add God to the mix. Yeah. You know what I mean? Our whole faith starts, ends, and is held together by Jesus. Yeah. I mean, it really is. And like, we can try as much as we want to I'm going to grow. I'm going to sit down and every day, this time, here to here, I'm locked in. I'm going to read my Bible. Okay, cool. What's that going to do for you? Yeah. If the Holy Spirit's not rooting it in your heart, you know, like you have to completely rely on God to like work himself into you. That's right. It's a sweet place of surrender to come to, but then, oh my gosh, like I've surrendered to this power. I should use it. Yeah. Like, what am I going to do with it? Which I thought that the way that you ended yesterday really kind of summed that up. You talked about how like God loved us so much that he showed us his love for us in Christ. And then do we value that enough to be shaped by it? Is the question. Yeah. And that is a funny question too, because I think we fall into, sometimes, we can all fall into as believers, this belief that, oh, it's just God doing it. It's just God doing it in me, and it's all God. Right. It's all God. It's like, wait a minute. We have responsibility here. We have to grow in our knowledge of Jesus. That's something that we have to do. That's why we call them sometimes spiritual disciplines. Right. But we have responsibilities that he gives us in the faith in chapters 4 through 6. There's a ton of them. Right. Like he's like, this is how you need to live. This is how you need to act. And it's like, okay, that's on me to really work this into my life, knowing that it is God who's going to give me the power to do it. But there is a part that we play in it. Yeah. We have this part in the dance. It's such an interesting balance because, you know, it like
I can do all of those things. If I do all of those things apart from Christ, I'm not going to get out of it what I think I'm trying to get out of it. But if I am doing all of these things in submission to God and like in praise of him and in thankfulness, and that's the thing, is he sustains us in the work we're doing as we continue to grow in our knowledge in him. That's right. Which is really awesome. So there's a phrase in here that we didn't really talk much about yesterday. I mean, you mentioned it yesterday, but sort of as two separate things. But that speak the truth in love thing. Yeah, the truth in love. Truth in love is what it says here. But I used it yesterday as like, let's look at the two pillars of our faith. Truth and love. That I am the way and the truth and life. That's Jesus. Jesus says, I give you a new command, love one another. We live on those things, man, and we're going to live a really powerful life of faith. Yes. Yep. But the scriptures actually are talking about speaking the truth in love. Yeah. Yeah. How do we do that? It's a very popular phrase. It is. We all know it. I think, we say it a lot. I actually forgot it came from Ephesians until you were reading yesterday. I was like, oh, there that is. There it is. Yeah, that's right. But I think something important to remember to go into it is Jesus is 100% fully truth. He's 100% fully love at the same time. Yes. We can't possibly hope to be 100% perfectly both, because we just know that it's not going to be realistic for us to fully do that. But we know that we have the power in us, as we've been saying, to do that. But I just thought maybe we could talk about some of the ways that we've heard truth in love. Well, I did say yesterday that the first way we have to look at that is there's two different categories in that. That's why I said love is provide and protect. So speaking the truth in love is, really confronting maybe somebody's. I'm going to lovingly speak the truth to them, okay? Yep. But it's also, I want to speak the truth about who you are in a way that demonstrates that I am all about your success, right? And I love you in that way. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like that's the speaking, like giving words of encouragement. That's really what that means. We should not always just look at that as, oh, I got to come down on somebody, but as, you know what? I'm going to speak the truth about them. You're an awesome person, man. Way to go. Stuff like that. Yep. But let's go back to the first way, and it's like that's what it's normally seen as, and that's it. Yeah, because I think if we read it in its context with the words around it, right? It says instead, so it's coming out of this, okay, we're not going to be influenced when people try to trick us with lies so clever they sound like the truth. Instead, we will speak the truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ, who is the head of his body, the church. And then it continues to talk about how he makes the whole body fit together perfectly. Each part has its own job. So the truth in love always ought to be something that builds up, right? I think great point. A lot of times I've heard, you just gotta speak the truth in love when someone's talking about you need to confront somebody or and they probably do go together, right? Like if there's confrontation, you should speak the truth in love 100%. But that's not just come in here and say something that's true. Yeah. With the sake of being divisive, right? Because it's really easy to get into that and have it be something that tears people down. And I think we were talking even before we were sitting down at the table, and you made a really good point. You were like, sometimes people think that just telling it like it is love. Right. And I'm like, not necessarily. Yeah. You have to take that verse, go all the way back to verse 2, where it says, okay, humility, gentleness, patience. Humility, gentleness. Yep. He started out with that. Humility, gentleness, patience. The harshness is what bothers me. Yeah. When people use truth and love as an excuse to be harsh. Right. And because it's just like, that's what you got to do. That's what right. And that's why I ask people, is your words harsh? Yeah. Is your tone harsh?
And are you making excuses for that?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people speak the truth in love as an excuse. So I'll just tell it like it is, man. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
No, it's not what it says.
The other thing I was thinking as you were talking about that yesterday, aside from just are the words harsh, is your tone harsh, is your heart harsh?
Ooh,
because you could say something with flowers and rainbows in a really nice tone. But bless your heart.
Yeah.
Like how many people you say bless your heart, and it's like, we're not actually, no. Like, what's happening in your heart?
It's like that's a really good point, and I think that's the first place to start.
Yeah.
Where's my heart in this?
Yep.
And you might have some anger, you might have some resentment, you might have some frustration with somebody.
Yep.
Okay, we all do. We all are going to have that, but it's going back and saying, okay, I've got to talk the truth. Mm-hmm. And first we ask God, is this necessary?
Right.
Is this a necessary thing I got to say to this person?
Yep.
Or I just want to kind of do this with the excuse.
Do I want to be right?
Some things are just like, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, some things are. And that's
things
where it gets a little bit more
important.
difficult. Because there are sometimes we get people that offend us and and we're offended literally because they did something wrong or something, or something I did to somebody that is really, and I've got to clear that up. And I get that. Sometimes people expect and just kind of hide things and just kind of expect that, you know what, they'll come to me. They need to come to me. And it's like, man, just go work it out, reconcile. Right. But it's got to be done in something that's necessary, something that is truthful. And we have to go in that attitude of love or with the humility, gentleness, patience, or else it's going to cause the kind of problems that now take months to sort out instead of, can we just have some conversation?
Yeah.
Heart issue, like you said, number one thing.
Yep.
Number one thing.
I think a good kind of filter or lens to look through when you think about that kind of conversation is like, why am I feeling the need to say this?
Yeah.
Is it because I want to be right? Do I want to win? Do I want to prove somebody wrong?
It's a good one.
Because we can all do that. Like, you can play, you can pretty much make a case for anything. But does your heart say, I want to build the church.
Yeah.
I want to build this person up so that they are more equipped to fill their role in the body of Christ. If that's where your heart is, you're ready to speak the truth in love.
That's a good way to look at that.
If your heart is still, I'm right, you might want to get with Jesus for a little bit longer before you go have that conversation.
You know what that conversation will turn into? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's like, we didn't get anywhere. I've been there. You know what I mean? I've made that mistake. And I think that what you say, you look at your heart, what is the end goal of this? Is it to build up? And he talks about building up here. He's got other letters that he says, hey, say only what is helpful.
Yeah.
For building one another up and encourage one another. And he said, Paul writes that all through his letters, you know? And I think that's a really good way to look at that, to say, is that really what I want to do? Because it might not be.
Yeah.
And if it's not, it's just going to cause more problems. I go back to the ingredients of humility, gentleness, and patience, and take a deep breath and look at my personal relationships, look at that conversation coming and saying, all right, make sure I'm using those. Because it's going to go far better. Yeah. Even if you got to speak hard truth.
Right.
Sometimes you do.
Right. Sometimes you do, and it is okay, but you just want to make sure that your heart is in the right place before you do it. Yep.
That's right, man.
All right, sweet.
It's good.
You got anything else?
Man, that's a lot. That's good things to get people to think through.
I think so,
Speaking the truth in love.
Yep.
It's huge,
All
man.
Right.
Huge.
Yes, it is.
Relationships matter, man.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah. All right, well, we'll be back next week.
Yep, we'll be back.
Well, are you here?
I think Adam.
Great. That guy again.
That guy.
Nah, that'll be good. All right.
All right,
we'll see y'all next week.